What's up you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jen and I am that props girl, and if you've been following me for a while, you will know that I love making fake food. And I've been doing it for a long time. Actually, it's kind of what put me on the map in terms of being found on YouTube, which is pretty exciting. Anyways, today I'm making a prop out of a new medium that I've not made fake food from before. I'm showing you guys how to make a fake burger from felt. And here is what that burger will look like when we're done. I was really happy with how this turned out and I can't wait to share this method with you guys. Be sure to smash the like button because it lets me know you want to see more content like this, as well as consider hitting that subscribe button and bell so that you don't miss any of my future content. And with all that said and done, let's jump straight into this tutorial. Alright, so for this task we will need obviously some felt. Now I used a cream coloured felt and a tan coloured felt for my bread, brown for my patty, green for the lettuce, red for the tomatoes, and a mustard coloured yellow for the cheese. You will also need some fabric scissors and a needle and thread. The thread I used was a tan colour and a brown colour, but you could also use white as well if you wanted on the bread roll. You'll also need some hot glue and acrylic paint. You'll need some stuffing or wadding. I used wadding because I didn't have any stuffing at the time. Either works fine. And you'll also need something round to trace your circles. Now, I used this to trace my circles. This video is not sponsored by Steph Pays, by the way, but this is one of her Keep Cup boxes that they come in. And this was the perfect size for the circles that I needed for the bun and the patties. And then you'll need a smaller one as well for your tomatoes, and I just used a candle. Okay, so step number one, we're going to trace out our shapes onto our felt and then cut them out. So you should end up with a pile like this. So we have top layer of bread, inner layer of bread, lettuce, tomatoes, cheese square, the two for the patty, so there's two there, and then once again the bread. Now don't worry about these being square, we're going to cut them to size a little bit later on. Now we're going to take our needle and thread and we're going to do a blanket stitch around the exterior of the bun and the patty. Now if you don't know how to do a blanket stitch, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to insert in here a little tutorial that I've done on how to do a blanket stitch, and this is very, very easy to do and it's a really great stitch to know. But if you already know how to do a blanket stitch, then jump ahead in the video. So I'm going to use two pieces of felt that are different colors to demonstrate. So these are pieces that I don't care about. So we're going to layer them on top of each other. So you want to make sure that whatever side that you want to be your top side is facing up and your bottom side facing the bottom. So I'm going to use some different colored thread. So this is just green thread so you can see where we're stitching. So I'm going to take my length of thread, however much you need, and we're going to thread our needle like so. Now we're going to double this over and we're just going to double knot this at the end like so. So now we've got a really strong piece of thread. Okay. So our method for this, we're going to come through on the inside of one of our layers, like so. We're just going to pull that thread in, and the reason I've done this is so we can hide our knot. We're just going to tuck that down in there so that from the exterior you can't see anything. So now we're going to take our needle and we're going to push through from the opposite side and pull that through, creating a little loop. You can, if you want to, you can have it hook around your finger. So there's our loop. Now, through our little loop here, we're going to come back through it from the direction we're coming from. And what this does is it creates like a little line that sits here. I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to go through from this opposite side, push through, create our loop, come through, and there we go. So we're creating a little line along the top here. You can even pull it fully the way through if you want and then go back through and add your loop. I just like to do it prior to, but this is what it looks like if you go back through. So you can see there's a little chain there, kind of looks like stitches, like if you were to have an injury and go to the hospital and get some stitches. You can see here all along the exterior of the burger here, is that chain stitch. So that's how you do a blanket stitch. When we're doing our blanket stitch, we want to make sure that we leave a little bit of a gap in our circle to make sure that we can insert our stuffing, because that's the next step. However much stuffing you need will depend on how fluffy you want your bun to be. So if you want your top one to be a bit fluffier than the bottom one, then use a little bit more stuffing up here. You'll also need to stuff the patty as well. Once that's done, we're going to start cutting our lettuce to size. Now, the way that I do this is I get the patty and then my piece of lettuce, and I sort of gauge how much overflow I want to have on the sides and just cut around it. So you should end up with a shape kind of like a clover. It can also be a 3-leaf clover, and it doesn't really matter if it's not perfect because it's going to be layered in anyway. And then also do the same thing with your cheese, so you should just need to like cut down a little bit to make it a square, and I left it overflowing just a little bit so that I could glue these sides down. And speaking of glue, that is the next step. So I just took some hot glue and popped it in the middle of all my layers just to sort of seal them down. And depending on how much room you want in your burger will depend on how much hot glue you need. This one, obviously, I've not done tons, but if you want it to sort of be more rigid and sit flat like that, then you'll need more glue. And our last step is to go in and do our art finishing. Now, this is completely up to you as to what you want to do. I just went in with some acrylic paint and put in a little bit of detailing on the tomato and the lettuce, and then I also dotted in on the top here to do like the seeds on the bread. If you prefer for these to be stitched, then do this before you do your blanket stitch and just go in with some white thread and do some little tack stitches in there. It's very easy to do. But other than that, that is how you make a fake burger from felt. I hope you guys liked this video. Let me know in the comments if you did, and consider hitting that subscribe button and bell so that you don't miss any of my content. I post a lot on social media, so consider giving me a follow on all of my other platforms, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.